So this was a rather serious DUI case. What had happened was my client was driving her vehicle. She had two younger children in the back seat. Somehow during the course of driving the vehicle, I think she was checking something on her phone, was distracted in some regard. She ends up rear-ending another person who had stopped at a stoplight. It was a minor collision. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries to anyone. But because there were some injuries and because she had children in the car, she faced felony DUI charges and misdemeanor child endangerment charges for the accusation that she was driving under the influence while she had children in the car, thus putting them in danger. In addition, she had prior DUI convictions, and she had a very, very high blood alcohol level. It was over a 0.30%, which is basically more than 4 times the legal limit. So the situation was basically my client was looking at possibly going to state prison based on, for up to 3 years, based on the allegations made in this case. So really the worst outcome was 3 years state prison if she had been convicted, and losing her driver's license for up to 5 years from the DMV. So in this particular case, we get a copy of all the reports from the investigation, including the narrative of the police report, photographs of the accident, blood analysis, blood alcohol test results. But really, the facts in this case weren't really in dispute. The issue in this case was my client, there were mitigating factors. My client had recently had someone very close to her pass away tragically. And she was an alcoholic, and she had been sober for quite some time. Due to this trauma of someone close to her passing away, she relapsed. And anyone who's worked with people in recovery from drug and alcohol addiction will be the first to tell you that relapse is really a part of recovery. Generally what happens is no one decides that I'm going to stop drinking or I'm going to stop using this particular substance, and then they never use it again for the rest of their life. That hardly ever happens. Most of the time we're human beings and we're fallible and we relapse. Unfortunately for her, she relapsed and was driving a vehicle and hit another vehicle in doing so. So she faced this felony DUI case. After presenting some of the mitigating evidence in the case, she had children, she was employed, she was otherwise a productive member of society. The point was to try to get the criminal justice process, the prosecutor and the judge, to see it as a rehabilitation issue rather than a punitive issue. That if she could maintain sobriety, then she wouldn't be a danger to society. So given that, she was referred to the drug court program, which is basically a probationary program that people can do in certain types of offenses involving alcohol and controlled substances, that allows them to complete a treatment program over a period of 18 to 24 months. And if they are able to complete the program without any violations, it keeps them out of custody and it allows them to maintain employment, to continue being at home, raising their family. And it also allows them to get help for their substance abuse and addiction issues and a support system to help them succeed. And if they complete the program, then the added benefit of that is the court generally will reduce charges to a misdemeanor or expunge the charges at the conclusion of the case, and thus leading to the client being able to walk out of the system rehabilitated and not having a criminal conviction on their record. And the state of California and the people also get the measure of having someone who, having some assurances that this person is not going to reoffend again in the future. So it really is kind of a win-win for everyone. But they have to be screened and accepted into the program, and I was able to present enough evidence to the prosecutor and the court that she was a good candidate for the drug court program, and she was accepted into it. If she commits new offenses while still in the drug court program, then the judge still has the authority to sentence her to custody time, including state prison. So it's not a get out of jail free card. The client has to work and work the program and make a commitment to staying out of trouble. But that being said, assuming she is able to do so, she won't have to go to state prison. She won't have to serve any custody time. But she will have to go through a very intense counseling and therapeutic program, and it includes drug testing, alcohol testing. She has to wear a monitor that determines whether she's drinking or not, so she has to abstain from any alcohol use altogether. It's not an easy program by any stretch of the imagination, but it's preferable to going to state prison. She got to keep her job. She has young children in the home, so obviously she gets to be a mother and help raise them. So all these things allowed her to kind of preserve the structure of her life going forward, and gave her an opportunity to also maintain, get sobriety again and maintain it. Because that was the thing about this case, is that the client was really adamant about, I want to maintain my sobriety again. I know I relapsed due to this tragedy that occurred, but I want to, I don't want to drink anymore, and I need help with that. And that was really key for it. Is she was willing to put in the work and willing to admit, I have a problem, and I'm willing to accept help for it. In this situation, I impacted her life in a very positive way, because when we first went to court on this case, the prosecutor's initial position was, this is a state prison case, and he wasn't even entertaining the idea of a probationary sentence, much less a probationary sentence that wouldn't involve her having to do any custody time at all. But that's part of our job as an attorney, is to supplement the information that's gathered during the initial investigation process, to humanize our clients by presenting them as people who have made a mistake, rather than just being judged and defined by this mistake that they made. That there's other aspects to their life, that they're mothers and fathers and sons and daughters and people with professions and people with lives. And not everyone that goes through the system is a career criminal or a habitual offender who needs to be incarcerated in order to protect society. That there's a rehabilitative purpose within our system, and that a lot of people fit into that paradigm rather than the incarceration paradigm.